This is Epyka. It launched in early January and you can pick it up for $10. It's an indie narrative puzzle game by developers Singular Perception. You play as Scott, and that pup, that's Jack. You set out on a quest to find a hidden city your late father was looking for. When he passed, you inherited his crystal and decided to embark on the quest to fulfill his life's mission, to find humanity's first civilization, Epyka. Quick thanks to Singular Perception for providing me with a review key. Epyka first caught my eye because I am just a sucker for polished animations, good voice acting, and that damn cute dog. And I really like the idea of a furball as a companion for some puzzles. And damn it, I've got the puzzle itch right now, something fierce. And Epyka, well, it didn't quite scratch that itch hard enough for me. So if you have some recommendations, do tell. Maybe I've been watching too many kids movies, but from the very start, Epyka's story and setting reminded me an awful lot of Moana. The boat you set sail on looks about the same, and you're taking a mysterious and magical crystal to a hidden island. But at least Jack isn't cross-eyed. I consider myself an average puzzle gamer, and I found Epyka pretty damn easy. Most of the puzzles revolve around symbol hunting in the environment, mazes, or some light logic stuff. While the puzzles do show some creativity, they're not overly difficult, but they were enjoyable. The environments look pretty good, especially for the Quest platform, and those slick animations that drew me in from the trailers, well, they held up inside the headset and throughout the entire game. The exploration is fairly linear, but there's a real sense of artistry in the game world and how the story unfolds. And that story is just wonderfully voice acted.
He's almost at the gate.
But the narrative itself, it's pretty generic. It provides just enough context to keep you engaged and glues together the game's various puzzles. It is told through dialogue with a different floating crystal and beautifully hand-drawn cutscenes, which add a touch of style to an already charming game. Jack wastes no time in being awesome, and he's a real joy on the beach, and yes, you can pet him. He's super cute and fun to have around, but his role in the gameplay is pretty minimal. Occasionally he fetches items, barks, but has little impact on puzzles, outside of one standout puzzle that feels a little inspired by A Fisherman's Tale. I found Jack's minimal involvement in the gameplay, well, to be a real letdown, to be honest. What I wanted from Epyka was a stronger bond with him, solving puzzles together, celebrating with plenty of "who's a good boy" moments, after conquering some challenges as a team. Instead, Jack feels more like a cute sidekick who follows you around rather than an active participant. As a result, Epyka ends up feeling like an easy, generic puzzle game with a dog to keep you company. And that's really my biggest issue with Epyka. It's just too simple and just doesn't have enough mechanics. And this is where Jack could have been more heavily involved. Imagine using a whistle or throwing a ball to guide him through obstacles, or having him jump across a gap to lower a bridge to you. These kinds of interactions could have made Jack feel like a true partner in this adventure and elevated the overall experience. I wanted to bond with Jack much the same way I bonded with Quill and Moss, but Epyka, it just never really forms that connection. Instead, it's your crystal that is much more the companion and the focus of the game. It gains shielding and telekinetic abilities throughout the game that allow for light combat. Though in my opinion, this doesn't fit the game well. I didn't find the combat really all that challenging or enjoyable because the controls are just pretty lackluster. When you're using one of these abilities, you can't move, which doesn't even remotely feel like 2025 to me. And sadly, once your crystal gains these abilities, well, the puzzling pretty much comes to an end. And you're left with killing these drones and moving a few blocks around, which is so basic, I really wouldn't dare call them a puzzle, let alone thought-provoking. And that is definitely a letdown for me, because that's why I play puzzle games in the first place. The game concludes with a boss fight using these mechanics. Don't worry, no spoilers. If the game had been more robust overall, I would actually say this boss fight would be pretty cool. It leverages VR's sense of scale really effectively and delivers something that is kind of slightly epic. But once again, the basic mechanics just kind of drag it down, making what could have been a standout moment just feel a little underwhelming. It took me about 2 hours to beat Epyka, making it hard to recommend. There are some collectibles, but not a lot of replay value. But for $10, it's not too unreasonable. If you're looking for a challenging brain burner, Epyka might not be the game for you. It feels much more geared towards a family audience than seasoned puzzlers. However, if you love dogs and you're in the mood for a light puzzler with a relaxing atmosphere and a rambunctious stroll with your trusty pup, well, Epyka might just wag your tail. I hope you found this review helpful. I review a lot of games on the channel, both mainstream stuff and smaller indie releases like this one. So let me know down in the comments below if you think Epyka is a game for you. If you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Thanks, and catch you next time.